It is one of the biggest races in South Carolina, and tonight we're finally closer to seeing who will be the state's next governor. I'm Colin Mayfield.
And I'm Vanessa Rufus. Tonight, current Lieutenant Governor Pamela Evette and State Attorney General Alan Wilson are now headed to a runoff for the GOP nomination. You'll remember that race was heavily contested with several candidates vying for that job.
And that includes State Representative Ralph Norman. We turn to WCNC Charlotte Tradisha Woodard, who's been at Ralph Norman's watch party. Tradisha, people are still closely monitoring these numbers.
That's right, Colin. Now, Congressman Ralph Norman did find himself trailing behind his competitors with a gap in votes. That gap continued to widen overnight. He stepped out at about 50% of those votes, saying, you know, the chances of him catching up was pretty slim, but still, he didn't concede. Take a listen.
You know, our message was we wanted to make South Carolina the best that it could be. We wanted to make South Carolina more conservative, and we wanted to help South Carolina with the influx of everybody coming in. This, you know, this isn't something that we counted on, but we worked, and what I feel good about, we did everything we could.
Ralph Norman's been acting like the governor of South Carolina for a long time. He has, using his congressional platform, and I know he will continue doing that. I know I'll continue doing that. Why? Because we have a whole lot of people and their future's on the line.
And still, GOP supporters across the board are watching the returns, refreshing phones, and holding on to hope that the race could tighten as more votes come in. Whether it's the economy, immigration, education, Republican candidates across South Carolina have spent months making their case to voters. Tonight, obviously, about more than just individual races. It's a test of where Republican voters stand on the issues that could define the party heading into the next cycle. Of course, Vanessa, we're going to continue to monitor those numbers all night long, all morning, and be sure to bring you guys the latest update. Reporting live in Rock Hill, Tradisha Woodard, WCNC Charlotte.
Tradisha, thank you so much. And we should note that Norman appears to be carrying the county where that watch party was happening. Probably not a big surprise because this is in his district, but York County, you could see he did get 38% of the vote, and he did carry a bunch of other neighboring counties like Chester, Union, and Cherokee counties. However, he did not carry his entire district. You could see dropping Lancaster. And overall, as we look at those totals, you could see that the really top two vote getters are quite close, with Norman trailing in the teens as well as Rom Reddy. But yes, Pamela Evette, as we mentioned, Alan Wilson will face each other in that runoff. They're separated, as we see right now at this hour, by about 3 percentage points. So that runoff is set for June 23rd. On the Democratic side, we are seeing the winner of that Republican race set to face Jermaine Johnson, the House representative. There you can see getting close to 60% of the votes for Kershaw and Lancaster counties is where he's currently representing. But overall for the state, there you could see a very wide lead. Another big race we know is for the Senate. On the GOP side, Senator Lindsey Graham, the incumbent, the winner here, carrying pretty much every single one of the counties except for Spartanburg and Greenville. He is looking for his 5th term in office, and he will go up against Annie. Let me back up to the statewide here, Annie Andrews, who won the Democratic side. So all of our election coverage, by the way, you can see by going to our website. We're also running the results for you at the bottom of our screen right now. We'll keep folks posted if anything changes.